Okay, so like, have you ever just looked up at the sky and thought like, wow, that's so cool?
It is pretty amazing when you stop and think about it.
Yeah, like it's just something we see every day, but why is it blue? Or like, what about those crazy sunset colors? And then at night, it's just full of stars.
It's, yeah, all those changes.
Yeah, and we're going to deep dive into all that today and figure out why.
Awesome.
And the funny thing is, like, the source we were working with for this one is this children's podcast.
Interesting.
But it just goes to show you that, like, the things we ask as kids, those are actually, like, really deep questions sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Even simple explanations can lead to some pretty complex science.
Right, so let's just jump into it. Okay, so blue sky,
Hmm.
like during the day, why is it blue?
So it's all about this thing called scattering, Rayleigh scattering. And basically, sunlight, like we all know it's made up of all the colors of the rainbow, right? And those colors all have different wavelengths. And what happens is that when sunlight enters the Earth's atmosphere, it runs into all this stuff, little particles like air molecules, dust, even water droplets. And what's really cool is that blue light, because it has a shorter wavelength than the other colors, it gets scattered more by all these particles.
So it's like bouncing around all over the place.
Exactly. And that makes it way more visible to us. So that's why we see a blue scare.
Huh. So it's like a constant light show up there.
Pretty much.
Okay, well, so then, like, what about sunsets? Why do we get those, like, orange and red colors when the sun starts to go down?
That's a great question. So, as the sun gets lower in the sky, its light has to travel through way more of the atmosphere to reach us, right?
Like a longer distance.
Right. And remember how we talked about blue light scattering more easily?
Uh-huh.
Well, during that long journey through the atmosphere, a ton of the blue light gets scattered away, so we're left with those colors that have longer wavelengths, like orange, red, and yellow.
Oh, so it's kind of like the atmosphere is filtering out the blue.
Exactly. It's like a natural filter, and that's what gives us those super vibrant sunset colors.
Man, that's so cool. I never knew that. Okay, so now, like, nighttime, no sun, obviously, so it's dark. But then we got all these stars.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about, right?
It is, but what are we actually seeing?
Well, each of those little twinkly lights is actually a sun just like our own.
Whoa, really?
Yep. And here's the really wild part here. Space is so unbelievably vast that the light we see from those stars has been traveling for like millions, even billions of years to reach us.
So we're basically looking back in time.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, so the podcast we mentioned earlier, they had this cool idea for an experiment to see how scattering works.
Oh, yeah.
This is like take a flashlight and shine it through a glass of water and put a drop of milk in there.
It's a classic demo.
Have you ever tried that?
Oh, yeah. It's so cool. You can actually see the light scattering and changing color just like in the atmosphere.
So simple, but it makes it so much easier to understand. Okay, so we've covered like blue sky, sunsets, and stars. And it all comes back to light scattering and this crazy vastness of space. It's incredible. But here's one last thing to think about. Like, we see the past when we look at stars, right?
Right.
So, like, what if our sun's light is reaching other worlds out there right now, but we just can't see it yet because it takes so long for the light to travel?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, just something to ponder, right?
Definitely makes you realize how much is out there that we don't even know about yet.
Right, and that's the beauty of science. Always something new to discover.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a fun deep dive.
Yeah, it was great talking about this stuff.
Thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
And to everyone listening, keep looking up at the sky and wondering.
There's a whole universe up there waiting to be explored.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.